says we're live.
Hey guys!
One more time. Hopefully you can see us and hear us.
We are Sean and Christy. This is Long Honeymoon, coming to you with another one of our notorious rambling live streaming events. This is sort of part TV show, part radio show, part podcast. You know, it's sort of a gumbo, a mix of all of the above. And the secret ingredient is you, because we do these live streams to interact with you guys, and we will be viewing your comments, your questions, your personal insults. And,
hopefully not any insults. You can save those to yourself.
So it's a good chance for us to kind of hang out with you guys on a Sunday night and see what's going on out there in Loho Nation. Just so you know, we are prepping our RV rig for yet another long journey, multi-month journey. Where we stop, nobody knows. But this week, Christy had the interior of our trailer pretty much torn apart. Well,
it still is.
Yeah, because she had some pretty ambitious interior upgrades planned, including redoing the drapes. We're going to try and dye our drapes so that they're a more appealing color than eggshell gray or whatever they are.
Creamy white, basically.
Yeah.
Boring and bland. And some people say they look like the inside of a casket.
We're also going to attempt to redo the floor of our bathroom, which will be a lot easier than it sounds because of the way we're going to do it. Yeah. And finally, if we're really feeling ambitious, we may stain our wooden cabinetry.
That may not get done before next week, but we're going to see if we can get all these projects done before we hit the road in just over a week. So fingers crossed that happens.
So I want to give some shout outs to Terry and Sylvia in Ontario. Daniel just bought a Tilly hat off our store. Thank you, Daniel. I hope you enjoy yours as much as we have enjoyed ours. Jeff and Sue say loho from Wisconsin, Prairie du Chien. Yeah, we've been through Wisconsin with our Airstream. We went through, is it Door County there? Mm-hmm. Had a traditional fish boil.
Yep, we did. And we went down through like Madison and just around Milwaukee in that area. So, yeah, we had a good visit in Wisconsin.
Shelly says she is in Michigan needing a Sunday evening shot of excitement. And otherwise, very full day. Johnny Cash on a Sunday morning sidewalk comes to mind. I am the man in black tonight. So shout out to Johnny Cash.
I'm the lady in black, I guess.
I think I've sort of adopted Johnny Cash's wardrobe.
I think it's like a mesh of Johnny Cash and Steve Jobs.
Yeah. And Sir Edmund Hillary. Sir Edmund Hillary was a big Tilly fan. Yeah, Steve Jobs would be sporting the turtleneck. It's a little warm for turtlenecks.
You're just like the Southern version of Steve Jobs.
Hi to Jeffrey in Florida. We are rescuing him from doing his taxes.
Oh, hi. I'm so sorry.
Yes. What is it they say about death and taxes?
Yeah.
Hey, Clifford in Canada. He says it's hot in British Columbia. If it's hot in Vancouver, you know it's hot. I mean, usually Vancouver is a place where we might go to escape the heat.
That's right.
But it sounds like that's not going to happen this year. We're thinking about going to, is it North Cascades National Park?
Yeah, kind of in northern Washington. But not if it's 100 degrees.
No, but you know, that's a national park we've never been to. Actually, Washington has several national parks that even though we've been through the state of Washington many times, we haven't made it to like Olympic.
None of their national parks. We have driven past them all. Just because we were on our way to do other things, and a couple of times not great time of year, like the weather was bad because it was late October.
Kurt is in Colorado Springs, ready to go. Loho to you, Kurt. There's Camping Alan from the Western Slope.
Very nice.
Remember, if I recall correctly, we met Alan and his canine friends in Colorado. Isn't that right, Alan?
Very cool.
Last year. Jabosik is in exotic Vestavia Hills, Alabama.
We know exactly where you are. Not far away.
Hey to David King in South Carolina, Wayne in Maryland, Denise. Good to see you, Denise.
Denise is one of our supporters here on YouTube. We appreciate that, Denise.
And a big thanks to Jim Pratt He says, hello from the Troll Patrol.
Yes.
Jim is our sort of resident moderator who shows up
Yes.
to smash the trolls.
We greatly appreciate him so much. And hi to his wife, Kelly.
We don't
They
seem to
are
get as
very
many
helpful.
trolls as we used to. Back in
You
the
do not jinx us with that. Don't say those words. Knock on wood.
earlier days of YouTube, it was mostly trolls. You were mostly
Well,
insulted.
Yeah.
That's when we learned to grow a very thick skin if you're going to do any kind of YouTube work.
Pretty sure middle school, prepared me for the insults of YouTube.
Susan's in Massachusetts. Big Lolo to Jeff.
Yes.
Yep. Will is in Dorr, Michigan. Raymond is in Massachusetts. Tracy's here and ready. If anybody's got any questions, we're going to be.
Oh, Paul Benoit says 82 degrees and sunny in Redmond, Washington today. So that's just north of Seattle.
That's right.
Like a suburb of Seattle.
Yeah, that's where isn't Microsoft based there?
I don't know about that, but I just know.
Maxie's in
That's
the
near
Eagle's
Kirkland
Nest.
Signature. I know that. It's
Eagle
the home of
Nest, New
Costco.
Mexico. I like the name of that.
Yeah.
There's Ray in Montana.
Jane says packing to go on an Airstream caravan. Well, that's exciting.
Awesome. We have rendezvoused with some caravans over the years. When we were in Alaska, we met up with a Wally Byam Caravan Club International. That was the tongue twister of a name for the official Airstream clubs, the WBCCI.
Yes.
But they have a great caravan that they take every few years. They don't do it every year because it is so ambitious, but it's I think a 2 to 3 month caravan.
I have to pause for a moment. We have a small chihuahua on the floor that is acting like it is life or death if she does not get picked up. So pardon me.
Yeah,
for one
we're
moment.
joined by a very special celebrity guest, baby girl, the Chihuahua, who is about to have a conniption fit if she doesn't get picked up.
She's just like
Scenes from
stomping
Oregon.
around.
It says stop by the Columbia Gorge National Scenic Area on your
She
way to
was
Washington State.
jumped
That
out
sounds
of the
great.
sack.
Baby girl.
Baby girl, you.
The show is on now.
Baby
She is in a frisky
girl.
mood.
What's up with you, girl?
Lee says
Jeez.
our daughter's wedding is over in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Charles says, hey guys, big fan. I've been watching for years since we started RV Life.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking with us over the years, Charles.
Yeah.
We've been doing Long Long Honeymoon for more than a decade. I often like to wax about the, poetic about the old days of making YouTube videos.
When your videos could only be 3 minutes long.
I mean, I never could have dreamed or envisioned that someday we would be able to live stream globally and have live interactive commentary and exchanges with folks and be able to go for an hour or more.
Mm-hmm.
Back in those days, you were limited to one standard definition, like low resolution 3-minute video, and that was it. And people used to say 3 minutes is too long of a video. William asks a pertinent question. Is Seymour pulling the Airstream this trip, or did you put our good old truck out to pasture? Seymour is still hanging in there. Seymour needed new brakes. Well, actually, to back up a little bit, we were in the market for a new truck, and I have a friend who actually sells GMC trucks, and I just thought, well, I'm gonna maybe take one for a test ride and just check out the Duramax. Not that I've made any commitment one way or another, but I had a friend in the business, so I called up my friend who might join us tonight. I don't know. I'm talking about you, Craig.
Yeah, sometimes he's on here.
And I said, we're thinking about getting a truck. What would you recommend? And he said, Sean, the market is crazier than I've ever seen it because of the current chip shortage. That, GM, for example, has, I believe, thousands of trucks that are built and are just sitting still waiting on chips for the production to be completed. So the market for trucks is actually in a very unusual state right now. New trucks are selling for like MSRP or above. And older trucks have actually appreciated in value.
Yeah. So basically, if you can get a truck of any kind, it's like hot, commodity at this point. So
I started to think, that maybe we'll try and ride the old pony one more season. And I took Seymour in to
Fingers
have
crossed.
He got 2 new batteries and also new brakes, front and rear.
And new rotors too, didn't
Yeah,
they?
brake rotors and pads and all that good stuff. And they did a thorough check on our truck. You know, it was one of those like 39-point inspections or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't find anything wrong with it. And I was like, I can't believe you didn't find anything wrong with it. But check engine light did come on today. I'm sorry to report. So yeah, we're gonna try and
we'll see how far we make it before we, have to ditch Seymour.
So hopefully Seymour can make it through more season. Jean says, I love your Yellowstone videos. Thank you, Jean. We're gonna try and do more. Matt asked, what year is the Loloho Airstream? Our Airstream is a 2003. And we're gonna be doing a video soon showing some of these interior upgrades that we've done to it. Our interior is something of a patchwork quilt because 2003 Airstream had an interior that looked a lot like a 1987 Airstream.
Yeah,
Airstream interiors,
very dated interior from day one.
They just didn't really change interiors much for about a 15 to 20 year block of time. Airstream kind of stagnated a little bit. And so, our exterior we had done last year, we had it ceramic coated at Vinny's North Bay Airstream Repair.
And we did some interior upgrades in the past. In 2012, we put in the hardwood floors, took out the carpet. In 2016, we recovered some valances. We painted walls inside. Did some stuff like that. So, we have made changes over the years, but we just thought it's been since 2016 since we've really done anything to the interior. So we just sort of got the wild hair that it needed to have something a little exciting. So
we'll give a shout out to Carlos in Guatemala.
Oh, wow. Carlos, we've actually been to Guatemala, Carlos.
Yeah, we've been to Antigua, Guatemala a couple of times. It's really a beautiful little town. Mm-hmm. I would highly recommend that people visit, especially during the Semana Santa, which is the Easter celebration.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really fantastic. Let's see. Jennifer is in Trinity.
Wayne.
Jessica's waiting on her Airstream delivery.
Oh, wow. We had a comment earlier from Wayne. He was encouraging people to leave thumbs ups, and I really appreciated that.
Yep.
So thank you, Wayne.
Guys.
I believe that's who was commenting and saying that earlier.
Charles is headed to Glacier this week from Colorado Springs. So excited.
Very nice. I hope you have a ticket to drive going to the Sun Road.
Yeah, we've been thinking about doing another video about Glacier. I think one of the changes this year is there is a ticket requirement to get in the park during the busiest part of the day.
I think it starts at 6 a.m. So you have to, if you don't have a ticket, I think you have to go in before 6 a.m. Otherwise, you're not getting in. So we've got a new member, Jan Thornton.
You, Jan.
Thank you so much for joining us here. We appreciate that so much.
And I want to acknowledge the super chat. Sorry.
I can't find them. Sorry. We've got a lot of comments flying by here.
I want to give a shout out to James. Says, can you explain the process of getting into Grovant? I have a reserve spot. Do I just drive to it and check in?
Yeah, so there's a check-in station there at the front of the campground. They'll have people that work at the campground. They're there every day, I think starting at 8 a.m. and they go until 4 or 5. I'm not sure how late, but you just check in with them. And now that it's reservation in advance, it's a little different than it was in the past. Because previously, you had to stop and get assigned your campsite for the night because it was first come, first serve. Now you're paying in advance with your reservation. So it should be a little more seamless of a process to check in because you already know what campsite you're going to. And they're just going to give you a map and tell you how to get there. And give you the rules of the park and tell you where the trash cans are and all that good stuff. So yeah, should be just like any other campground that you have a reservation at, really.
Gay says hi from Central Texas and hi, baby girl.
Hi.
Will ask any tips for making reservations. I assume we're talking about Grovant. I mean, basically that is reservation.gov, is it not?
Recreation.gov, yeah.
Should be reservation.gov.
If you are trying to make a reservation for a national park campground at this point, the earlier you make your reservation, the better. Most of them open their campgrounds up for reservation spots 6 months in advance of the date that you want to stay. So I made our September reservations for Grovant back in early April, late March, I think. So, I mean, it stinks. I hate that you have to make them that far in advance, but I understand why they did it, because they were so overwhelmed last year with just the sheer number of campers that they have not had in the past. And I think it's part of COVID. So many more people are traveling by car and RV because they don't have any other places to go. So it's just slamming the national park system right now. I don't think that'll last forever, but I do think this year and possibly next year, it will continue to be overwhelming. So
give a shout out to the McClures in North
hi
Carolina.
guys. I hope you're enjoying your Jackery
Yep.
panels that you won.
They were the winners of our Jackery giveaway that we did on Amazon Live.
Yeah.
Hey to D. Peck in rainy Central Florida. Carl Steinberg asked, how's the Nano coating doing? Carl's referring to the ceramic coating that we had done at Vinny's last year. The Nano coating is doing great. In fact, we'll probably put some video in next week's video showing the cleaning process of the exterior, because, you know, people get the ceramic coating. You get several benefits. One is the long-term protection of the aluminum or fiberglass or your graphics or whatever. But the other benefit is just ease of cleaning, because everything from tree sap to brake dust to bugs comes right off the ceramic very easily. And so I love that. It's made cleaning up a lot easier.
Our newest member, Jan Thornton, says War Eagle from Auburn, Alabama. War Eagle, yeah.
More foul language on our page.
We had a comment a minute ago, and I can't find it now. It's too far back in the chat, but it was from, I think, Free Beck. And they were just saying that they had just returned from a trip to Yellowstone in the Tetons, and they used our videos to plan their trip, and that it was super helpful. So we're happy to hear that you guys had a great trip. I know it's been really busy there this year for sure. Record-setting crowds. So hopefully that didn't put a damper on your trip or anything.
Ribble 14.
Oh, wow.
Asks a good question. Is Mount Rushmore worth the trip coming from Cleveland, Ohio? We should do a video about Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, we've never done one.
Well, we've been there more than once.
Specifically about Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, but we've camped in that area. We've been to Mount Rushmore. We've done it. I think it's one of those things. It's sort of almost a bucket list type of trip.
You have to do it, because
it's so iconic.
It's amazing, really, that they were able to sculpt what they did in the side of this mountain. And, you know, it actually looks what it's supposed to look like, you know. It's pretty incredible. But I do think it's worth the trip, but I wouldn't go just for Mount Rushmore. There are so many other things in that area to see and do. So don't just limit yourself to Mount Rushmore, because you can do Custer State Park is right there. Badlands is right there. If you go in August, you can go to Sturgis, which is actually a lot of fun.
I have to say,
even if you're not on a motorcycle.
If you're not a biker, Sturgis is a lot of fun. If you don't mind being around, you know, big crowds of people, it's a festival atmosphere there. You know, a lot of live music.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to look at the motorcycles, even if you're not a biker, because you will see every type of motorcycle known to man.
And every mopeds and trikes and just sidecars, and you know, it's crazy. So it's an interesting place. They also go to Devil's Tower in Wyoming. It's not that far from that area, and it's a really cool thing to see as well.
Yeah, so there's actually a lot to see in that corner of the country. So
absolutely, we would recommend going to see that from Ohio.
Shout out to Dennis and Amy in Amish country in Minnesota, who are proud Scamp owners.
How fun.
I admire the Scamp. Always,
I think they're super well made.
Yeah, I do too. You don't have to worry about leaks in a Scamp.
Yeah.
Am I correct? That's a real benefit of that design.
Yep.
Let's see. Cross Country RV Check and Solar says Michigan is our home state. Jessica is in Louisville. Let's see. We had another question.
Keep scrolling down because we've got a few super chat people.
Oh, yeah. Too. We're trying to get to everybody. That's, you know, one issue.
Lots of comments flying in, and we're getting them from YouTube and through Facebook. So we're just trying to catch as many people as we can.
Yeah, I really want to recognize all the super chats. Hi to
Oh,
Mary,
wow.
who became
New
a YouTube
YouTube
member.
member.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very much,
joining
Mary.
us.
We
We
appreciate
appreciate that.
that.
Jinx.
Mr. Roboto, Wall Drug.
Hey, Wall Drug.
You're
Yeah,
right.
you can go to Wall Drug too if you're going to Mount Rushmore, because it's not terribly
You
far.
know, when I was working in Yellowstone back when I was in college, I drove across South Dakota several times to get to Yellowstone, and you will start seeing billboards for Wall Drug in eastern South Dakota. And by the time you get to that Wall Drug exit, you will have seen like 5,000 billboards for Wall Drug. And it really requires superhuman, self restraint not to pull over when you get to that Wall Drug exit.
Yeah.
And
you have to do it.
But I didn't do it the first time. I was like, I refused to pull over after seeing 500 billboards. And people were like, I can't believe you didn't stop at Wall Drug.
So Bob Cochran, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate that.
I will say I went back to Wall Drug and I ended up enjoying it very much. And actually, we did a video about Wall Drug that I really like. It's one of the stranger videos we've ever done.
It's very hallucinogenic.
Wow, Bob.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
That's
Bob.
very generous.
We appreciate it so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll put some fuel and Seymour in your name, Bob.
Yep, we appreciate that very much.
And then we've got Joe from Michigan. Thanks for tuning in.
Recognize Bob again. Wow.
Yeah, thank you, Bob.
That was really kind. And also Michelle.
Michelle, thank you.
She says, thanks for your work. Your videos are informative, entertaining. Are there features you're especially interested in for a new tow vehicle?
Well, pretty much everything.
Reliability. No, Seymour is still hanging in there. As far as, honestly, our truck is a bit of a dinosaur. And, we've had it for more than a decade, and we have gotten our money's worth out of it. As far as the features that we see in new trucks that are of great appeal, the new trucks are a lot quieter. I mean, I think that's one obvious upside.
We won't wake up the entire camper.
Yeah, I mean, the new,
when cranking it.
when we bought our truck, the norm for diesel engines was to have that kind of clatter and racket coming from the engine. It's not the norm anymore. So they've gotten much quieter. Certainly, we would like to have, I think, some kind of moonroof or sunroof or something, because we don't have that in our truck. And I think we would really enjoy that in places like Glacier or the Tetons. So
that when we're parked on the side of the road, one of us can stand up and take some pictures through the sunroof instead of hanging out a side window. It'd be a lot easier. Also, some creature comforts, like maybe a heated seat here or there. That'd be fancy. I would feel like I was in the 21st century if I had that.
And all the modern technology, the driver's assist features,
backup cameras and sensors for changing lanes, and even the I think now the side mirrors extend and retract at the push of a button. Imagine that. That'd be amazing.
Those were on the market when we got our truck, but I have to say my one reservation about these new trucks is they have so many motors and they're so automated.
Everything will break.
Yeah, I just from experience, everything's great when it works, and when it stops working, then it's not so great. But we're really looking forward to getting a new vehicle. We put some money down on a Cybertruck from Tesla. I don't think it's going to work for us in the way we travel, unfortunately, but I'm not giving up on it yet either. We're going to, as they get closer to the launch of the Cybertruck, we're going to take a close look at it, but we're also looking at every other manufacturer, Ford, the GMC, everything.
So shout out if you have a favorite truck that you think we need to go for. We're all ears. We're open to everything.
Kathleen's going to Grayson Highlands State Park in August.
Nice.
U.S. Tahoe says Roll Tide Roll. High mark in Michigan. And just to be fair, Dirt Road Sailing says Go Vols. That's a reference to the hated Tennessee Volunteers.
Sorry. Does anybody really hate them anymore? Bless their hearts. They haven't won a game in a long time.
They're on the comeback.
I feel bad for you.
They're on the comeback.
Maybe they are. I hope they win some games.
Thanks to Roaming Gnome. Super chat.
You.
Says a quick hello from Purgatory, also known as South Florida.
You're right. This time of year, you are in Purgatory in South Florida.
Yeah, when you think about South Florida, the height of the season for RV travel is really winter. And that's when all the snowbirds flock down there from Canada and elsewhere in the northern part of North America. And, we actually got married down in South Florida, as far south as you can go, down in Key West. And we always enjoy going down there. I think if you've never been to South Florida and certainly to the Keys, then that needs to be on your bucket list as far as RVing destinations goes.
Absolutely.
I mean, just great camping for one thing, really unique culture. It's not like any other place in the United States. Lots of alligators.
Yeah. But once you get to the Keys, it really is like you're in the Caribbean, but you're still in the US. So it's just a really neat mix, I think.
Ray asked if we've camped in the Bighorn Mountains. We have not camped there. We've driven through there and towed through there many times.
Yeah.
But I think it seems like every time we're in the Bighorns, we're sort of on our way to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Or
to meet somebody
to
or to a reservation of some sort. So,
but it looks really beautiful. And, we're kind of looking for places this year that might be sort of off the radar a little bit, so like maybe places where we haven't camped before. So maybe that's something we could look into. It's a very beautiful area.
If you guys can't tell, baby girl is obsessed with Sean. Sean is her favorite person on earth. And she is having a fit because he is not holding her. She's having to suffer and sit with me. Are you happy now?
She hates wearing any kind of clothing, so we never put any clothing on her. But I did get one of those little baby Yoda outfits that I'm going to try and coax her into putting on for like 30 seconds for a photo, because she's sort of like baby Yoda.
She's got the
ears.
A
furry baby Yoda. Hey to Kenny and Candy's Travels in Cropwell, Alabama.
Hi, guys. You guys are close by.
Kevin Jones says we finished our big trip to Yellowstone and the Grand Teton about 3 weeks ago. Any tips and tricks on how to break out of the post-Yellowstone vacation depression? Love your content. Keep it up. That's a good question. There's that sort of feeling. It's sort of like after a big party. Like if you have a party, you look forward to the party for weeks. You have the party, and then the day after the party, it's kind of a down day because you're sort of back to normal. And
you just got to keep partying.
Yeah.
So I would say go for a hike somewhere. Find somewhere in nature around you that you can sort of get out and be in the trees and go for a walk. And,
if you took photos and videos, you can sort of relive some of your memories that way more than ever these days.
But I will say, with as amazing as Yellowstone and Grand Teton are, there are so many places that get overlooked that are in your own backyard.
Right.
I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, actually my orthodontist, Dr. Weissman. Hi there, if you're watching. She just did a paddle trip down the Cahaba River here in Alabama. And her pictures were beautiful. And she said they had the best time. And it's literally like 20 minutes from where we live. And she said it was the first time she'd ever done it. And we've never done it either. So I think it's just sometimes we have to remind ourselves that there are cool things to do close to home. It just doesn't seem as exciting sometimes because you don't have to do all this planning and, get in your car and drive somewhere far away to make it seem exotic. So look for those adventures that are in your own backyard that you've probably overlooked because, I think that can help.
There's a story I want to tell you really quickly. I have a longtime friend from Rome, Italy. And when I was in my 20s, I had the opportunity to go visit her in Rome. And she was in university. And while she was going to class, I would go around in Rome and see the sights. And I went to see the Roman Colosseum, of course. And when I got back and met with my friend later that day, I said, I went to the Colosseum today. And she said, oh, how was it? I've never been. She grew up in Italy, in Rome, and never even bothered to go to the Colosseum.
Like would drive by the Colosseum every day on her way to college.
But we sort of all take for granted all the great experiences that are in our backyard. So that's sort of the point of the story is look in your own area. You'll find some cool camping experiences. Lone Wolf asked if we put ceramic coating on Seymour. We have not yet, but that may be in the works this summer because I love the ceramic coating so much on the Airstream. I would love to have it on our truck, really for the cleanup aspect of things, keeping Seymour
clean. Do we really
clean.
Want to invest that on
yes,
Seymour?
Yes, we do.
I mean,
yes, we do. I'm going to show
Seymour.
you. This is sponsored by Vinny's. Vinny's has the best ceramic coating in the business. Vinny and Brian developed this, and it's really worked out great. And somebody asked if Seymour is going to be going out west this summer.
He is going out west. hopefully we're going to make it back from out west. That's the goal. To make it round trip.
Might be a one-way trip with Seymour this year.
Oh, Marie Fitzpatrick. We already recognized
yeah.
her, but thanks again, Marie, for joining. We appreciate that so much.
We're scrolling
We've got
through.
some super chat people we need to recognize. Oh, Ask Remy, who's also a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you. We love our flag. Todd, good to see Todd as always. Says there's a serious drought in Utah right now. All the reservoirs are low. And some spring spigots are turned off at many U.S. Forest Service and BLM camping areas. Wow. So you're saying it's hard to get water in these BLM areas. That could be an issue. Fortunately, we have friends with a driveway in the Salt Lake City area.
Hopefully they'll let us get some water.
Well, we got a hello from Spain.
Oh, wow. We love Spain.
Yeah.
We actually spent a good bit of time in Spain back in 2014. We went to Madrid and Sevilla,
and Barcelona.
We went to Granada. It was a great time. We love Spain. We love the people. We love the food. It's a great place to visit. I would love to go back.
Let's see. Redheaded Riding Hood says, I was in the Macon, Georgia area 32 years and never went to the Allman Brothers Museum. Good example.
Yes. Yes, you should visit.
We should go to the Hank Williams Museum.
Yeah, we drive past Georgiana, Alabama, which is the hometown of Hank Williams. We drive through there all the time, and we have never stopped. So
here's a good COVID question. Everybody loves COVID, don't they? Willa Wanders asks, how has COVID impacted your travels? Well, the first obvious reply would be, we actually love international travel as well as Airstream travel, and the international travel has been off the table for more than a year. But with regard to Airstream travel, it hasn't affected it as much as you might think. And, when we went out, our last big trip was, other than the changing mask requirements from state to state and different campground check-in and check-out procedures, you could still get out and enjoy the country. And that's why RV travel has really boomed over the last year. Mm-hmm. You can still get out there and, you're automatically socially distanced if you're in an RV. That's a lot of the reason people get an RV, so they can.
We didn't leave last year until the really very end of August. And it was because we were sort of waiting for some of those restrictions to lift as far as having to quarantine when you get to a state. We really didn't want to do that. So we waited until those sanctions had been lifted. So I had somebody in the queue there.
Here's a free back. So stick with a Ford F-250, you'll be pleased. My F-350 2012 has 230K on it and drives like it's still new. Wow. That's great. Our truck.
Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate that.
Much appreciated. That will go towards a new Ford truck. Actually, we have a friend who follows Long Long Honeymoon, Clyde Williams. I don't know if Clyde's watching right now, but he works at a Ford dealership in New York. And we'll probably be talking to Clyde as well. I wish his dealership was a little closer to Loloho.
If anybody has any ends at Ford that would love to hook us up, we would be all ears.
Patrick has a 2500 Ram diesel with the mega cab. I didn't even know there was such thing as a mega cab. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
You can never have too much storage space. It's one lesson I've learned. Let's see.
So many comments. Sorry, we're trying to get to as many people as we can.
Yeah, Joyce says, how old is your Ford truck? Yeah, our truck is a 2007, and it is a 6-liter.
Yes.
The notorious 6-liter engine.
We did have it bulletproofed at Bulletproof Diesel in 2015.
Yeah.
No, 17. January of 17, I think.
So we've had a pretty serious engine overhaul, with a new head, with head studs and new oil cooler, EGR cooler, water pump, all that stuff.
Yep.
So it was a pretty big overhaul and upgrade. Sarah says, I've been without my Tempur-Pedic bed, which I fit into my motorhome. Let's see. That's interesting because we still have our same mattress in our Airstream.
Our same crappy mattress. We do have a mattress topper on it, which makes it's actually very comfortable with the mattress topper on it. The problem is the mattress topper slides around when we're bouncing down the road. And also in the middle of the night, as we turn over a few times in the middle of the night, by the time we wake up in the morning, it kind of slides down and we have like this 6-inch gap at the top of our bed where it's kind of worked its way down. So that's really annoying because we were constantly having to like push that up, and it's so heavy. I can't do it by myself. Sean has to help me. So we have this nightly ritual of pushing the bed. Now that doesn't mean what you might think it means. It's literally us like picking up the mattress topper and sliding it back up to the headboard area of our bed. Just because it moves around so much. So I would love to get a new mattress. I don't know that I want a memory foam mattress because I do hear that those can be hot, like they can hold heat in them. And I like a really firm mattress. We both like a firm mattress. So I don't know if the Tempur-Pedic or, memory foam would be what we go for, but we'll see.
I want to give a shout out to Debbie who says Jolly Roger RV Park on Marathon. She's talking about down in the Florida Keys. It's great. I know we've stayed at the Jolly Roger. We have stayed there.
And if you are a member of RV America or Passport America, I'm sorry, if you're a Passport America member, the Jolly Roger RV Park actually participates in Passport America, which means if you stay there during certain times of year, not in the peak season, mind you, but during certain times of year, you can stay there for half price. So I think we paid like $40 a night for a full hookup campsite.
The one thing I remember,
Keys, that's pretty unheard of. So they've
got some nice waterfront property there, and there are a lot of those large, I guess, iguanas.
Yes,
around
huge iguanas.
They're about as big as our dog.
Oh, they're way bigger than
yeah, they're bigger.
Way bigger than Baby Girl.
She would look like a tasty snack.
Oh, wow.
Checking out, ordered a 2022 Tiffin Wayfarer. That's what our friends have, right?
Yes.
Our friends Mike and Angela who do 30a.com. Last year, they bought a Tiffin Wayfarer, and they're currently traveling in it right now. We'll probably rendezvous with them at some point.
They're going to meet us in Jackson.
And they love it. I'm sure you will love it. I think it's just hard to get an RV right now, isn't it? Like they're on back order.
I think so many people are just waiting for an RV, waiting for them to be built. And then I got a terrible message yesterday on our Instagram account from a follower. They have a brand new Flying Cloud Airstream that they ordered from the factory. I don't think they've had it very long. And they were packing it for a trip. They parked it on the street in front of their house, packing it for a trip. They were supposed to leave tomorrow. And a distracted driver ran into the back of it. And I think it may be totaled. I'm not sure. But they're having to send it back to the factory to be repaired. And I'm just so crushed for them because they've waited so long to get it. They finally got it. And then somebody not paying attention to what they're doing just rear-ended it while it was parked on the street in front of their house. And, I
remember
there goes their camping season.
About 20 years ago, my mom got a new car. It was like a Honda Accord, and she'd had it a week.
Yeah.
And actually, she loaned it to my sister to take a short trip, and the car was parked still on the side of the street, and some teenage kid ran in and
like sideswiped it.
Yeah, sideswiped it, and the whole thing had to be repainted.
And it was
a week-old car that was parked and still got hit. So those things happen, sadly.
Jeb wants to know, how do you become a member? There should be
on our channel
tab on our channel page.
There should be like a membership/community tab where you can join. And we appreciate. We'll do some detailed.
I'm not sure if you can join from our page right now while we're doing a live stream, but you can from our regular YouTube homepage, which is just youtube.com/longlonghoneymoon. And somebody did join earlier, so maybe you can do it while we're live. Just look for a little community button.
Yeah, we'll do an explanation video about that.
Sorry, we can't see what you're seeing right now while we're live streaming.
JPG makes a good point. Says watching webcams can help you with your letdown. And we're talking about after you leave Yellowstone or leave Jackson or leave the Florida Keys. It's amazing what you can find if you get on and do an internet search and look for webcams. A lot of times, for example, there are certain Eagle's Nest webcams where you can actually monitor an actual live eagle's nest. There are more than one of these that are just fantastic because you can actually see wild eagles in their environment, see them hatch eggs and raise the baby birds. Just for example, but there's a famous webcam downtown Jackson Hole or Jackson Wyoming. That's that crossroads where you can turn and go out to the Yellowstone Park. And I tune into that from time to time just to check the weather and just see what's going on. So it's a lot of fun. Let's see. Michael says his backyard feels like the surface of the sun. So yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Yes.
So we're going somewhere cool and dry, hopefully. Let's see.
Oh, wow.
Randy says there's a lot of wildfires in Montana. We've heard that fire season is really kicking into full gear right now.
Yeah.
We have friends in Idaho who said that there's a lot of smoke there right now in certain areas.
Yeah.
So sorry to hear that.
That stinks.
Yeah. I mean, there have been times in Glacier Park in Montana when your view of the mountains is obfuscated by smoke, you know, and that's certainly true in the Tetons as well. Let's see. Ken says, what do you think about a gas burner versus a diesel? Does the convenience of gas outweigh the mileage of diesel, especially with the high cost of a diesel engine? Well, gas versus diesel, that would be an interesting video to do. And I've sort of danced around the topic a little bit before. You know, the diesel, at least in the past, it was a pretty significant advantage. But I think there have been a lot of advancements in gasoline engines these days so that I would consider a gasoline engine. You know, diesel now, you've also got the DEF, the diesel exhaust fluid you got to buy. Diesel is always more expensive. I mean, like, it used to be that the fuel was cheaper, but now the fuel is as expensive or more expensive, and you've got the DEF expense, and you've just got more maintenance involved typically over time with the diesel. The other, the corollary of that is diesels, they used to just run forever. And I guess ours is still running after 14 years. So, but a lot of people have told me there's a new Godzilla gasoline engine that Ford's putting in. So you guys probably know more about it than I do, but every once in a while I'll get a message that says, you got to get the Godzilla gasoline engine. I like it. If it's called Godzilla,
Well, it'll be
like
helpful for Alaska. That's for sure.
Just want to recognize Jim there.
Hi, Jim, chiming in.
Love Mickey Sue. Jim, how are the trolls tonight? I haven't seen too many trolls. So I think we're having pretty good luck on the troll front tonight. Jane and Perry say, I'm hesitant about camping in our 40-foot Class A in national parks. Any suggestions to put our mind at ease? I think your hesitation may have to do with the size of your rig. That's a pretty big rig, to be honest. I mean, and a lot of these national parks are older campgrounds that were designed many decades ago, kind of before the big rig Class A's became a thing.
Yeah.
So I would
say definitely go online and check to make sure the campgrounds you're interested in even have sites large enough to accommodate you. I know Grovant in Grand Teton does have some sites that will accommodate a motorhome that large. Not a ton, you know, you're very limited on choice. That's the problem. Within Yellowstone National Park, you're pushing it, to say the least. So you really are going to have to check the websites and just see, you know, they'll list what the length limit is for each campground on the National Park Service website for each national park. They break it down by campground. So I would just encourage you to do that. And if you don't find one inside a national park that will accommodate you, there are so many options right outside the entrances to the parks. West Yellowstone in Montana, that small town, which is right outside the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park. There are so many RV parks there that will absolutely 100% accommodate you. I know it's not as exciting as being in the park, but you know, sometimes you just got to take what you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, for you, it's just going to be planning in advance and making some phone calls.
Tracy says at Yellowstone, you're pushing it with a 30-footer.
Yeah.
Yellowstone has some really tricky campsites. And like if you go in, I think it's the Madison campground, for example. She hates it.
I hate it.
You know, as long as we've been doing this, we've gotten to where we can back our trailer in just about anywhere. But there's something about that Madison campground.
They're pull-through sites, but the pull-through is very like,
it's a curve.
Tight, like
it's
almost like a C shape, you know? So like here's the road and your site is like a C shape.
Oh, and in the middle of the C are a bunch of trees.
So you can see all the scrapes on the trees where people have hit them with their RVs because it's almost impossible not to if you have anything longer than 18 feet. So I really hate the Madison campground. That is absolutely our last resort to stay in. And in fact, I would probably rather stay in West Yellowstone than stay in Madison for that reason. It's a beautiful area. It's just the campsites.
Campsites need some work.
They need to, unfortunately, there are a few trees that need to be cut so that people can fit.
Fishing Bridge is an option in Yellowstone, but Fishing Bridge has been closed for the last season or two because they were, I think, doing some renovations.
Yeah.
So I don't know the status of Fishing Bridge.
It's not open this year.
I don't think it's
so
open.
2022 is when it's scheduled to reopen. In fact, somebody earlier mentioned that they already have their reservations for 2022, I think.
Chad asked if we've ever visited, camped in northern Minnesota. Now, we've been through Minnesota and camped in Minnesota.
We have camped in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota.
Also near
Minneapolis. We camped there.
In a city park.
Yeah, there was a city park right outside of the city that we stayed in.
But we haven't been up the top, the border.
The very tip. Yeah. Detroit Lakes is as far north as we've been.
I want to give a thanks to Dwayne for the super chat.
You.
He says, we're at Yellowstone and Tetons in June. We miss seeing Bear 399 and her cubs by moments. Did you guys see her yet? We have not seen 399, and we have gone out last year.
We went looking for her last year.
I heard that for a while there, she was hanging out near that Jackson Lake Dam area in the Tetons. And so far, she has eluded us. But we have several photographer friends, some of whom live there in the area, and they take wonderful pictures of 399. We haven't seen as many grizzlies in the Tetons. We see them in Yellowstone. I mean, not to say they don't exist in the Tetons, but we've seen more black bear there.
Yeah.
I would love to see 399, though. Let's see. Somebody asked a question about boondocking. A quick answer to Patrick. Patrick asked if we have any pictures of our Airstream during its remodel.
We have a whole video.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a video about it that hopefully will be ready on Sunday. So 1 week from today.
But previously, when we did our other updates, those were in videos as well. So we showed, we painted fabric on our couch. We put new fabric on the valances. We painted the walls inside the Airstream. All those things are in a video back in 2016. So that is a very detailed video.
My dream would be to totally revamp the interior, and have one of these there are actually companies that redesign and build out Airstream interiors, but it's a pretty expensive process. And sadly, we have not been able to do that yet. Bunky's Workshop asks, if you're going for a new Airstream, what would be the one thing that you would do differently?
I think I would like to have one that has a better seating arrangement as far as the U-shaped couch with the table in the middle. I think that's a nice setup. A lot of the European Airstreams have that. They did it in the US for a couple of years, I think 2018, 2019, and for whatever reason, they're not doing them anymore. But I think that's a good setup. And also for you to have a dedicated desk spot would be good.
Yeah, I would love to have sort of a better work setup situation because, I a lot of times end up editing our videos on the road, and I have a little flip out table and I'll edit from a laptop, but I would love to figure out a way to have a nicer computer monitor in there and a more comfortable chair and that sort of thing. It could be done. It's just, it would require a little bit of reconfiguration and some carpentry and a vision.
Skills that we don't really possess.
I sadly do not have.
So yeah, I would probably just go with maybe a different configuration, maybe slightly longer. Ours is 25 feet. I would probably bump up to maybe 26. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but that little bit of space could give us room for Sean to have a little bit more of a desk space and for us still to have a U-shaped sofa area with a table in the middle. So I don't know. The one thing I don't like about new Airstreams, for the most part, all of them have it where the shower is separate from the bathroom, where it's across the hall from the toilet and the sink. And I hate that. I don't like that at all. I don't like to step out of the shower into the hallway. I think that is no go for me. I really love our bathroom and that it's all on one side together. So when you close the bathroom door, you're in there with the toilet, the sink, and the shower. Our shower is really deep because it sits over the wheel well. So there's actually a really substantial seat in our shower because you are literally sitting on top of the wheel well. So it's actually a brilliant design. Why they stopped doing that, I have no idea, but they need to go back to it. Just my 2 cents.
Joe Michaels asked, have you ever visited the Canadian parks, the national parks? They're really nice. We have.
Yes,
We've
absolutely.
been to many of them. Canada has many beautiful RV camping and tent camping opportunities.
So we've done Banff and Lake Louise. We've driven through several parks in British Columbia. We did some provincial parks. White Swan Lake is a gorgeous provincial park. The road to get there is one of the scariest drives ever. It's a one-way gravel road with like 1,000-foot drop-off on one side. Yeah,
the provincial parks are fantastic. I mean, I guess they're the equivalent of our state parks.
Yeah.
But they're really beautiful. They're inexpensive. You know, they have just, outstanding, gorgeous settings. A lot of times there's free firewood. So we love those Canadian provincial parks. In fact, if the border situation was a little better, we might go up to Canada
if we can cross
year,
the border. I know they've talked about opening it. Somebody said maybe July 25th. I don't know if that's really going to happen or not, but if it is open when we head out west, we may cross over and go to Waterton Lakes National Park. We've been there several times, and it is a beautiful park. It's just north of Glacier National Park in the U.S. They actually meet, so you can camp through the backcountry and cross the border. But it's like a 20-mile hike to do that. So we probably won't ever do that, but it is possible.
Mick asked if we've done a lift to our Airstream. We have not yet. I mean, he's talking about a lift kit that would sort of raise the ride height of the Airstream, and it allows you to get into some more remote areas sometimes that, might require a little bit more clearance.
Yeah.
Because our Airstreams sort of ride kind of low.
Definitely.
So we've thought about doing that. I mean, the downside of a lift kit is you've got a higher step to get inside your Airstream. So it lifts your steps up off the further off the ground as well.
And I've heard from some people that it does affect the towing. It's just not quite as smooth. So I don't know. Somebody asked about, sorry, can you scroll back up for just a second? There was a question I wanted to answer about clothing, what you should wear in Yellowstone in like September. Okay.
We're sorting through a lot of comments here. I just wanted to give Dr. John a shout out and thanks for the super chat. He asked for any suggestions on where to buy the odd size RV mattresses.
There are companies out there that will custom cut mattresses for RVs if you know your make and model and all that good stuff. And they will like cut a corner that has to be round, or if you have like a weird, like where it's more narrow at the top than it is at the bottom. I would just Google it. We don't have personal experience with any of them, so I can't tell you if any of them are good or bad.
Especially those foam mattresses, because I think they probably have computerized that by now. And so they just take your RV model and year, and the computer just cuts it out to size. Our Airstream mattress is that way, that it's sort of a weird curve on one side.
We have a curve on one corner.
Because it's in the back of our Airstream. Everything in Airstream is a little bit different because of the curves.
It's a little wonky.
So thank you again, Dr. John.
Okay, I can't remember who asked this question, but I'm going to answer it because I saw it and I thought it was a good question. They said they're going to be going to Yellowstone in September. What kind of clothes do we need to pack? You need to pack for summer during the day, like shorts, t-shirt, maybe a pullover of some sort. And then in the afternoon and evening, you need to dress for winter because it can go down to like 35 at night in September, depending on the time of month. It snowed on us before in Yellowstone in September. So you kind of need to pack a little bit of everything. Layers, I think, are the key there. So just, don't be caught cold. Prepare for colder weather for sure.
I want to recognize Melissa, who says, thank you for all your wonderful videos. My husband and I have learned so much from y'all. Well, thank you, Melissa. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Melissa. We appreciate that super chat.
It's gotten to the point now, if we're traveling around with our Airstream and I make a bad mistake or a goof, I have some relief that I can at least share my misfortune with you guys and help you avoid making the same mistakes. And we all make mistakes when we travel, and we've documented many of our mistakes on our channel. So, and we're always open for new topics. If you guys can think of a topic that we have not addressed, you know, I looked at our channel recently. I think we've done around 400 videos, at least 300, I think 400.
Probably, I would think closer to 400.
I mean, honestly, I feel like we have covered the topic pretty thoroughly, and yet there are always other things to discuss.
There was that question. Thanks, Dale, for the question.
Dale,
that was helpful to you.
Yeah, that's a great question because you know, we're in the process of packing right now, and you kind of have to pack for summer and winter, like Chrissy said.
So Jim Pratt says a lot of people are posting in the chat. Please be patient. So we're trying to get to as many comments as we can. We have almost 1,000 people here for the live chat. So when comments come in, they're kind of just flying by our screen and we're having to scroll back to see them.
Yeah, we really appreciate all of you guys showing up tonight and hanging out with us.
We always enjoy getting to chat with you guys and answer questions as quickly as we can. Dave Hamilton, he found the way to join. I think somebody said that the join button is right below the thumbs up and the thumbs down little icons. So if you're interested in joining our channel as a subscriber or a supporter, that's how you do that. And Dave joined. So thank you very much, Dave. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Dave.
And he had a pet question. When baby girl needs vet care on the road, how do you pick a good local vet where you are? Baby girl usually goes on our shorter trips with us. So mainly Florida, Georgia, those kind of places. When we're in Florida in the Panhandle, we have friends that live there and we would take her to their vet because it's somebody that we know and trust. If we were somewhere else where we needed emergency vet care, you know, I would probably get on Yelp. And I know that's a strange recommendation, but Yelp has lots of reviews. You can sort of read the good and the bad. And then I would also just ask some people around wherever you are. If you're staying at an RV park and there are people there with pets, ask them, ask the people at the front desk if they have a recommendation. So, you know, I think just personal reference is usually the way I would go personally.
Yeah, Yelp, you can find a lot of good reviews and
there used to be a huge book that was like a phone book that Good Sam used to put out that was about like urgent RV care.
That's right.
And it had a listing of like every RV, every pet urgent care in the country, like every state. It was on a map and everything. And we had that phone book for years. I'm sure they don't print that anymore. You probably can download it on an app somewhere. But again, I still would probably go with word of mouth from local people, from their personal experiences, who's somebody that you would trust to take your small dog to.
Meteorologist Brian Smith asked if we miss not having a slide out. Well, I guess the truth is we don't miss it because we've never had one. But, you know, Airstream has made slide out models before.
In fact, Vinny of Vinny's North Bay Airstream had one. And we actually stayed in his when we were replacing the floor in our Airstream back in 2012. And it was very nice to have that extra space, I have to say.
Yeah, slide outs are nice.
But slide outs break, slide outs leak.
There's maintenance involved.
So, you know,
it's a funny thing.
We just adapt.
Airstream community is kind of weird because the slide out Airstreams, it was a special model. I think it was an anniversary edition. But Airstreamers
just didn't take off.
Didn't really take off.
People want the iconic
that traditional
shape, you know.
They want the trailer that's like what their grandparents took them camping in, that sort of thing.
Right.
Let's see. Judy says, kind of new to your channel. We love your videos. Do you film your live streams from your RV or home? We are in the lodge at the Loloho National Forest. We actually live stream both from our sort of studio and also from the road.
Yeah.
Now, when we live stream from the road, we typically don't have a lot of the fancy gear.
Yeah.
And that's because we're working from a cellular hotspot.
Sometimes we'll just be sitting out next to our camper with just a very crude
Sometimes we're
setup.
just using our phone, but we will do the live streams from the road. And we're continuing to live stream on Amazon Live as well.
Yeah.
We're committing to doing that every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And those live streams are very much like these. they're a lot of
There's
fun.
just a lot fewer people, so it's easier for us to get through and see more comments and respond to more people. So
Let's see.
feel free to join us there if you wish. Let's see.
Yep. RV Trimming with Tom and Bonnie says, enjoy your videos. You have a home base. We do have a home base in the Loloho National Forest, which is rumored to be located somewhere in Alabama. We sort of call ourselves full-time, part-time RVers.
We're part-time RVers.
Because typically when we go on a long honeymoon trip, we will go for months at a time. I mean, I think our longest has probably been 6 months, which is a long time to be gone.
Almost 7 months.
Yeah.
The year we went to Alaska, we were gone for almost 7 months. So it just depends. I mean, no, we are not full-time RVers. We do not live 100% of the time in our RV.
But I mean, we've been doing it for more than a decade. And one thing I've noticed,
almost 15 years.
Now, some people go full-time and stay full-time forever. And a lot of other people will go full-time and they might full-time for 5 years or 7 years or 8 years. And then they end up having a brick and mortar home base at some point. Yeah. I do think if you could sort of have the best of both worlds, it's a great way to go.
Yeah. So usually we hit the road for a big, long trip this time of year, which we're about to do. And we'll be gone typically until around Thanksgiving. And then, from Thanksgiving through like March, we're usually in our home base in Alabama. We'll do a few like little weekend trips here and there around town. And then in the spring, we try to do a couple of trips where we're gone for like a week or two, like to Florida or somewhere like that. And then gear back up to hit the road for another long trip midsummer. So we're typically on the road 4 to 6 months out of the year, usually at least one block of 4 months where we're gone for the entire 4 months. So
I'll give a shout out to Daryl in the Bay Area of California.
Hi, Daryl.
Say hi to Vinny if you see him. Vinny's actually up around, he's near Sacramento now, but we love going to the Bay Area for sure. Terrell Miller says, when are you going to finally capitulate and buy that easy peasy Class A push button RV and go full time?
Probably never.
Well, I thought it would be fun to get into something different and maybe take it out for a season and just to try something different. I think, we love our Airstream. We're pretty comfortable with the setup. I think we'll definitely be getting into a new truck in the near future. But, I think it would be an interesting experience to travel around with a Class A. In many ways, we envy your storage space and a lot of your living accommodations.
And the creature comforts.
Yeah, the creature comforts. Sure. I mean, a lot of those Class A's have a washer and dryer.
Washer and dryer and a residential refrigerator. That would be pretty sweet, I have to say.
Karen asked if we've been up to Newfoundland. We actually have not. I mean, one year we had a big trip planned and then something came up that we had to sort of scrap those plans. That was
a little brain tumor.
Yeah. Brain tumor.
Just something came up.
Pituitary tumor.
Yes.
He's
good now.
Yeah,
it wasn't cancer.
Somebody earlier asked about my health. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I'm going to be going in and giving blood and getting my checkup. So, but everything's been pretty good. Tracy asked an interesting question. What is the average time one should take at the dump station? That's an interesting question because I think the actual emptying of your tanks, typically shouldn't take very long.
Like 10 or 15 minutes.
But I encourage you, at most, but don't get into a hurry doing that, especially if you're new, because when you get into a hurry and rush, that's when you make mistakes, and you don't want to make mistakes at the dump station. The other factor there is how long it might take to refill your freshwater tank. And unfortunately, in a lot of places, like a lot of national parks, the water pressure is very low. And, I'm looking at you, Grovant.
Yes.
Because
it takes forever to fill your freshwater tank there.
And with that low water pressure, it just takes a long time. And so I think you have to be patient if you're waiting for someone to fill their freshwater tank, and so that always creates some awkward situations. Bruce says he'll be at Grovant in 2 days. And on that note, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek. Can you hold baby girl for a second?
And then we'll answer Ken's question here.
So we got something we're pretty excited about this year, and I'm thinking we may do this as a charity thing. I'm thinking like do it as a fundraiser because I sincerely know a needy family in Myanmar.
Oh yeah,
who would benefit from t-shirt sales. We have Grovant t-shirts this year for the first time. These shirts are available at the link beneath this video, and it's a really cool original artwork design. It says Grovant, it's got a moose, it's got the Tetons,
It
and it
says
says
Lolo down here, and on the
front,
back it
on the
says
back,
Long Long
Long
Honeymoon.
And I hate to say this, but beware of knockoffs. We've had problems with our designs being ripped off.
Yes.
No nice way to say it.
And they'll put them on really cheap, dinky shirts.
Yeah, and so like they
cheap.
put them on low. They'll rip off our designs and put them on low quality shirts. And
so then when you get the shirt, it's just crap. So make sure you only purchase through the link below this video or in our storefront on Amazon.
Hey, Bill C, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I want to thank Jeff and Sue Groom for the super chat. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much.
We're trying to recognize everybody. It's kind of like drinking from a fire hose when you're when you're trying to manage a YouTube chat. Denise says she got her Grovant shirt on Friday and loves it. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
So Denise got in on the sneak peek on that.
Yep. Because she follows us on Amazon Live.
She follows us on Amazon Live, and we sort of debuted that this past Tuesday night on Amazon Live. And Sean
it's an awesome shirt. And like
it's a really cool design.
To my knowledge, this is the first
Grovant t-shirt. We've never seen one before
in the world. Because Grovant's almost kind of like I mean, it's not a secret exactly, but there's really not much there. It's wilderness, you know. And there's the town of Kelly that's nearby.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Lucy says, let's chat about Class A motorhome repairs. It's crazy. Don't do it. That's funny you say that. I hadn't really thought about that angle, but
I think buying tires for a Class A can be extremely expensive.
Those big tires.
Oh, Bill, thanks again for joining.
It's kind of like Ferrari ownership. I've always daydreamed about owning like a Ferrari, but then if you start actually doing the math, you're like, well, I'll be satisfied.
An oil change is like 10 grand, so we'll be passing on that.
Yeah, back in the old days, I think you couldn't really work on a Ferrari. You know, anyway, it's just not. But you know, a Class A would be a lot of fun.
William says he has made his 2022 reservations at Fishing Bridge in Yellowstone for July. They have 80-foot sight. Wow. I'm looking at making reservations at Coulter Bay and Grand Tetons. Have you stayed there? We have never stayed in Coulter Bay, mainly because we've never been able to get in there because we don't plan. You know that, right?
And it books up.
And it books way in advance. We've driven through it many times in that area. It is very nice. So, you know, if you can get a site there, it's a nice place.
You know, the former manager of Coulter Bay Campground, he follows Long Long Honeymoon on YouTube. I believe his name is Brad. He's posted a few comments. I don't know if you're out there right now, Brad, but he would probably have some insights as far as staying at Coulter Bay. You got something to say, baby girl?
This dog is going nuts for you, baby girl. Baby girl.
You got something to say?
She's hopping around, anxious and fidgety.
Yeah, she has us well trained.
Yeah.
She's been very patient with us, training us over the years, but now she knows how to get us to do her bidding.
Yes, that's right.
All right. I want to say hey to T. Rowan in Eureka, California.
We have been through
April says the cost of owning a Ferrari is not that bad.
April.
Convince my wife of that.
Keep these thoughts to yourself, April.
But will it tow? Can I tow with a Ferrari?
You might could tow a trash can.
Hey, these days I think a Ferrari would be less expensive than a new diesel pickup truck.
Honestly, it's about the same, I think.
Have you looked at the price of a diesel pickup truck lately? I'll just get a Ferrari Testarossa.
Thank you, Dwayne. What a nice comment. We appreciate that very much. Let's see.
Yeah, thank you, Dwayne.
Cheryl said.
Let's see.
It's a nice comment from Cheryl.
Wayne says 578 thumbs up.
Thank you, Wayne. He's been pushing everybody to give a thumbs up. We appreciate that so much. I think when people give a thumbs up, it helps our videos show up in other people's news feeds that maybe aren't subscribed to our channel. So it does help us grow our channel. So we appreciate that when people give a thumbs up and when people leave a comment. Both of those things help us with the YouTube algorithm, which is how they determine who sees what videos. So we do appreciate it if you guys are willing to click that little like button.
Becky asked an interesting question. Are you guys planning another trip overseas, like to Thailand in the near future? I think the Well, it depends how you define near future is the issue, and it has to do with the pandemic and when we could go. I appreciate you asking that question, Becky, because we love our overseas travels and we like to share more of them with you. I don't always get the impression that everybody is interested in them, to be honest, but we've had some incredible experiences in Southeast Asia that I would love to share with you. I actually did a video earlier this year. I have a sort of side channel called the Shawn Michaels Simulation. And sometimes I'll post videos over there that don't quite fit with RV travel of long honeymoon. And I did one on Myanmar, also known as Burma, that I encourage you to check out because I'm really proud of that video, but not very many people have watched it. You know, it doesn't have that many views, but I think it's probably the best video I've done all year. But, you know, nobody watches it.
Baby girl.
Harry DeArmond.
Daddy-O is checking in on you. So for those of you that don't know, Harry DeArmond is my dad. He's in a lot of our videos. Anytime we are fixing something or making something or anything that requires some technical help and we aren't near Vinny or Ronnie. So shout out to my dad and my mom because they're both watching. And he is checking in on baby girl.
Baby girl says that Harry often has some pretty good treats.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty good stuff.
Harry shares his homemade biscuits that my mom has made him. Yeah. He also shares my mom's famous fried chicken. My mom makes the best fried chicken you've ever had. And also the best buttermilk biscuits. So baby girl is seriously spoiled.
Harry's a pretty good fella. He's pretty generous with sharing his treats.
I love sitting on the couch with Harry.
Yep. Let's say E. Thank you, E, for the super chats. I've been following for a few years. Really enjoy your videos and live chat. I'm remodeling a trailer now and hitting the road in a few weeks full time.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. We are not exactly remodeling, but we're doing some interior upgrades and sort of sprucing it up. We really need to recover our couch. And
our couch is a jackknife sofa, so recovering it ourselves is like out of the question because it has like this weird folding mechanism in it. And so we have to get a professional to do that. And we've dropped the ball on getting that done. So
how about a good bear story? So thank you again for the super chat. E. Checking out says, if you camp in bear country, do not camp in a tent. We were in Banff and one person got dragged away by a grizzly.
Wow.
And the next week a girl got dragged away by a wolf. No tents. You know, in Yellowstone, for example, at Fishing Bridge, you have to have a hard-sided camper. That was the rule for a long time. I think that's still the rule.
Still the rule.
You can't
so if you have
there.
A pop-up camper that has like canvas sides, you can't camp there. If you have one of those rooftop tents that pop up from the roof of your truck, you can't camp at Fishing Bridge there either. So
I'm going to give a shout out to Nathan and Tessie, living our journey. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Just wanted to say hello. We're fans of the channel and your travels.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
very kind
you for the super chat. We appreciate that so much. Andrea
awesome.
says.
Much appreciated. Oh, yeah. Andrea says, have you ever considered RVing overseas? We have actually done it twice. Yeah, twice. The first time was in Argentina. We flew down to Buenos Aires and we rented a camper van and did some touring.
Like a long weekend.
Yeah, long weekend trip. And it was a lot of fun. You know, I'll never forget just driving around that camper van. I think it started raining as soon as we got on the road. I'm riding around in Argentina. Had only been there for a couple of days.
Yeah.
It was definitely an unforgettable experience. Does she have some water?
Eyes? She does have water over here. Hold on.
The other time that we went RVing overseas was in Germany. We somehow ended up meeting basically the president. Oh, she's thirsty. Of Airstream Germany, Airstream Europe. A guy named Armin Hoyne. So if you're out there, Armin, hello.
Yes, he's a great guy.
Great guy. And we did some Airstream camping by the river in Germany. Next to Armin's own personal Airstream.
Limburg on the
Lawn. So that was a lot of fun. You know, it's different in every country, obviously. One thing we're really blessed with in the United States, it's like she's never had a drink of water before. In the United States, we have the infrastructure to support RV camping. Now, something to know about this dog. Like, we've had water on the floor. She could have been drinking water at any
I sat her
time.
down on the floor 5 minutes ago, and the water was literally a foot from her. Did she drink any of it? No.
But like, she really wants a human being to be holding the glass of water for her to drink it. You know, she is the
You gotta
most.
slow down. You're gonna choke, baby girl.
She's the most neurotic dog and quirky dog of all time. You know, there have been times when we've had to beg her to eat. She wouldn't eat unless we put the food in our hand. Then
she is a
she would
rescue
eat.
dog. She was in a not great environment that she was rescued from. So that's why she has some of
My
those
goodness.
Because somebody was mean to this baby, and I can't imagine who would do that.
That's the way I look when I get my first beer in the evening. So
sorry for that water break for baby girl there.
you know, we really want to do some RVing in Australia and New Zealand, because I've heard actually New Zealand especially is just wonderful RVing country.
Yeah, I actually messaged Armin in Germany a week ago or so and told him that we wanted to come back and do some more camping in Europe with him. So maybe we'll make that happen in the next year or two. That would be a lot of fun.
Checking out says they would like to see the Argentina videos. There should be 2 or 3 on our YouTube channel, but
They were in 2009.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
So you have to scroll way back on the old video list.
Jane and Perry asks, explain how to view your Amazon video channel. Now, this is a new thing. Amazon's trying to develop a live streaming video platform, and they actually invited us to participate in it. And we thought, what the heck? It sounds like fun. It's very similar to this. If you go to amazon.com/shop/longlonghoneymoon, then you will see our page, and then you can follow us on that page. If you click follow, then you will get a notification whenever we're going live.
Yes.
And one thing I'll say about the live streams there, we don't have as many people there as we do here. So we're able to interact with people much more effectively, I think, because, you know, instead of having 1,000 people in one room, we've got merely a couple hundred.
Yeah.
So, and not everybody's posting a comment. So,
and we do usually have like a topic for those videos. Like this week, I think we're going to talk about like truck accessories, like our tonneau cover and our storage box and our bike racks and that kind of stuff. But we can talk about anything.
Yeah.
We don't have to just talk about those products, but we do highlight a couple of products that go with the theme. Like last week, we talked about like RV organization. Previous weeks, we sort of talked about like weird gadgets and tools that are helpful on the road. So, you know, we sort of do that just to throw some products out there, but then you can ask any question.
That's the way we want it to be. We want it to involve some storytelling, and we want to have fun with it. We want you guys to have fun with it.
We want you guys to enjoy it. We don't want it to just be a sales pitch the whole time.
In fact, I'm going to show you my new Amazon purchase because I'm thinking about it now.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
Yeah, look at this.
Can you see it?
I'm the proud owner of an RV wastewater tote. This is a 6-gallon
like
tote.
One.
Yeah, it's like you can hold a Chihuahua and the tote simultaneously while doing a live stream. So it's pretty impressive. Actually, we've resisted buying one of these RV water totes for years because of the storage space that
they're so big, and we don't have much space to store things.
So this thing, it holds
it's a big commitment.
6 gallons, and we're going to use it for gray water. And, you know, even with only 6 gallons, that translates to about 55 to 60 pounds of weight.
Yes.
Because the tote itself weighs almost 8 pounds. And you add all that water, but this one has a fold-out handle, so you can roll it to the dump station or to your truck or wherever.
We've got.
I want to say hi to Patrick.
Oh yeah, new member. Thank you for joining, Patrick.
Yeah,
he had a question
it.
earlier, so thanks again for joining.
Let's see. A lot of people have ordered their shirts.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Order your Grobot shirt.
Hope you love it.
Make sure you're ordering it from our storefront, though. Don't buy the knockoff.
There is a link, and there is also a link. It should be on the YouTube description right beneath this video, because I put one in there that goes to our official page. Brian Smith says, with gas prices rising, how do you deal with an eco car versus an RV at 8 miles per gallon? Going from Tennessee to the mighty Fob, it almost costs as much to stay in a hotel. I see what you're saying. Basically, you know, we committed to the RV lifestyle a long time ago, and
back in 2007.
I think it all comes out in the wash, and by that I mean there are a lot of nights where we stay for free or almost free, so we're not really paying for lodging, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
we're not always paying campground fees. We do a lot of that sort of off the grid boondocking.
Dry camping.
And so, you know, there are a lot of times when we're sort of paying zero. We might go a week or two and we don't pay any lodging cost. So the higher price of fuel is kind of a bummer, but I think it all kind of comes out in the wash. You know, when we went to Alaska, fuel prices were spiking. We sort
it
of
was
picked
like
the worst.
all-time high fuel prices for diesel. There were places in Canada where we were paying like almost $8 a gallon
Yeah.
for diesel. It was insane.
Canadians,
and in California, it was almost $6 a gallon.
Jim's going to get mad if we bring that up.
Sorry.
Those fuel prices in Canada.
But it was in really remote places like northern British Columbia where gas prices would be high anyway. But
And
because of the year that we went, it was just even more.
not only were fuel prices high, the exchange rate was very disfavorable towards the US dollar.
Yeah, it was almost 1-to-1.
Yeah. So like,
which is usually
so
not
that was
the
a factor
case.
too.
So yeah,
So-
we had terrible timing with regards to that trip on cost, but we sort of had committed and we were like, by golly, we're going to do it. So
Wow.
we did.
Talking about that Class A maintenance, Rick says his Class A motorhome has 22.5-inch rims and tires are $800 a piece.
Wow.
And I have to say, you got to have good tires on your motorhome because
yes.
I every year hear about tire blowouts on motorhomes, and those can be really dangerous.
Especially if it's one of those front wheels. If you ever see videos of people that have a blowout with a front wheel, it's really scary. So I'm glad you got new tires on your RV. I'm sorry they cost so much.
I want to give a shout out to Devoted Mom of 7. Thank you for the super chat. Says, we're new and your channel has been so helpful. Thank you for your generosity to share your wealth of information that's blessed us immensely. Well, that's wonderful
What a
to hear.
sweet comment. Thank you so much.
I think,
And I'm amazed that you're a mom of 7. Wow. Rving will be a total breeze to you because you're used to, you know, chasing 7 kids. So
you
no
know,
problem.
a few years ago, we camped next to a fellow Airstreamer who had like a 34-foot Airstream,
Yes.
and he had 5 or 6 kids.
I think he
in
had
that
6 kids and they were sleeping in that Airstream, but they had modified it with like bunks in the back.
And one day, like I was using my power drill to raise and lower our stabilizer jacks on the Airstream, and I noticed that his kids had been doing it manually.
Mhm.
And I said, you know, you could get them a power drill and do it. And he's like, no. Every kid is going to have their assigned task, their job to do, and they're going to do it the old-fashioned manual way. And I respected that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to a 13-year-old, cranking down your stabilizer jacks is no big deal.
I think it's a great family bonding experience, and that's something you get, I believe, with RV travel that you just don't get any other way. You know, it's just it's having the family together in a unique environment, like being in the RV. There's nothing else quite like it. Jerry says, love the videos. Got the same hat from your Amazon link. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you for using our link. We appreciate that.
Hope you like the hat.
So for anybody that doesn't know, our Amazon storefront is basically a place where you can support our channel. You can purchase anything that Amazon sells as long as you start from our storefront, and we earn a commission off of whatever you buy. So it doesn't cost you any more, and we earn a little paycheck. So it's very helpful to us.
Excuse me.
It's a free way for you to support our channel if you're already buying something from Amazon anyway. So
See, Michael says I
check
can
it out.
watch here, but I can't watch on Amazon. I mean, you can watch. There is a page. It's for Amazon live streams,
Mhm.
and it's pretty interesting, I think, because they're trying to set this up where they will have, you know, people like us who are like normal people, and then they'll have, you know, Matthew McConaughey in there,
Yeah.
whoever else. So there's sort of a mix. But, you know, one of the reasons we're doing it is Amazon will promote, you know, they'll promote the different live streams. They're
Yeah.
really, you know, putting a lot behind it.
So if
I
you're
hope it
having
catches
trouble
on.
finding us from our main Amazon storefront, we go live every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you go to just Amazon.com, there'll be a tab at the top that says live streams. And if you go there at 6 p.m., you should be able to scroll down and it'll show you like current live streams, and we should be there. So if you can't find us by going to our Amazon homepage, that's the other way you should be able to find us.
See, I think E's got the right idea. He says I listen and, you know, add things to the cart or whatever. But
yeah,
these live streams, they're kind of like a radio show or TV show or podcast.
right.
If you're folding clothes or you're working in the garage, you know,
Right.
it's just fun to have
You
on.
don't have to be totally focused the whole time. It can be, you know, sort of while you're doing something else, you can, listen to us and chime in if you want.
Denise says she likes my storage tote.
Yeah.
And Lucy says she has a tote. This storage tote that we just bought stores 6 gallons of dirty water. We're going to use it for gray water because I'm not signing up to transport black water just yet. Maybe eventually, but we'll just use it for gray water. But 6 gallons for us, that would be almost a day's worth of water when we're dry camping.
Yeah.
Maybe more than a day, because I believe we have a 38-gallon gray water tank, and we've gone like a good 8 or 9 days.
I think 9 days is our streak.
So if you think about it, that translates to about 4 gallons of water a day or something. So I figure if we can just bleed off 6 gallons every couple of days, we could boondock almost indefinitely.
Right.
But we'll see how this thing works out. Let's see. Michael says you need a hitch for your e-bike. I just got a bike bag today and I have not even tried out yet. I'm going to try putting it in a bag, our electric bikes in a bag.
Yes.
And then, can you hold her for a second?
Sure.
And then see if that works. And then we'll put the bag in the bed of our truck. So we'll see how that works out. Norma asks if an Airstream is any hotter inside than any other RV.
I don't really know because we've only ever had an Airstream.
I don't think it would be any hotter. I do think that the awnings make a huge difference.
They do make a really big difference. So if you get the chance to get the awnings that go all the way around, I would suggest that. We only have an awning on our curbside, but you can get them on every window all the way around. And that would be an upgrade that I think would be worth doing, because I do think those smaller awnings, you can leave those out without worrying about the wind gusts quite as much as the bigger awnings.
That is a nice upgrade. Who knows, maybe we'll eventually have that done. That's something that Vinny does at Vinny's North Bay Airstream Repair, is he can actually add awnings to your Airstream.
Yep.
You don't want just anybody working on your Airstream, because Airstream, that aluminum skin is
so fragile.
It's fragile. Yeah. It's durable, but delicate.
Yes.
And if it gets damaged, it's hard to fix. Marion Campbell says, hello from Hickory, North Carolina. I'm anxiously awaiting the delivery of our first Airstream, a 25-foot Globetrotter, any day now. I want to thank you for the advice and info. That's awesome, Marianne. I'm fond of the 25-foot length Airstreams or 25-foot travel trailers.
I think it's kind of perfect, especially if you plan to be visiting a lot of national parks. You'll be able to fit into a lot of campgrounds with that size trailer.
Yeah, we have obviously enjoyed ours because we've kept the same one all these years. We got really lucky, and I think, and got the right size and floor plan that worked well for us, which was pure luck because we didn't know what we were doing when we got it.
Yeah. Karen
asked a question of Christy. Says she just bought a Kindle Paperwhite. What are your book suggestions? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
She's been reading her Bible a lot lately.
I have been reading my Bible a lot lately. Not on my Kindle. I bought a new Bible recently, and so I've been getting back into the habit of doing a daily Bible study, trying to better myself. But yeah, so on my Kindle, I do have all of the Harry Bosch books. So if you are a fan of Los Angeles, if you're a fan of murder, crime, detective type of books, those books have been around for a hot minute. There's like 30 of them in the series. I've read all of them so far.
Actually,
I think a new one is coming. There is a TV show based on Bosch now on Amazon.
Yeah, if you're an Amazon Prime member,
it's a great show.
I guess it's free, included with Prime. It is a really well done show. So like if you've never watched Bosch, it's a rare show. I don't watch much TV anymore. I just don't.
But I can get him to watch.
But I'll watch that.
And his name is Harry Bosch, and my dad's name is Harry, so I like that about him. But I think the Harry Bosch book series are really good. I read a lot of like the Guest in Cabin 10 and kind of the Leanne Morty books are really good. I like all of her books. The Kristen Hanna, I like her books. The Jennifer Weiner, I like her books. So yeah, I kind of read a little bit of everything. Some fluff, some murder mystery books, every now and then a trashy romance novel. So, just whatever.
I like to read, sometimes I like to read biographies. Like I enjoyed that Steve Jobs biography. And I like to read sort of business, not really self-help books, but advice books or life advice books, which I don't do it often enough. So I'll give a shout out to Scott Adams. I read the How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. And I enjoyed that book. He doesn't need me to give him a shout out. But
oh, somebody says they have all the Bosch books. Yeah, they're great books. And, you know, it's fun to see how they've incorporated the books into the TV show. So
Greg said he just ordered the Grovant shirt. Awesome. We'll be there in 2 weeks. Bring your shirt. The shirts are going to make a splash this year, and we may have some interesting plans for the shirts in the near future.
We just ordered some shirts ourselves, and I mean, I think we're Prime members, so I don't know if you're an Amazon Prime member, but that probably will make your order go faster.
Yeah, I think he was saying he'll be at Grovant in 2 weeks.
He wanted to know if his shirt would come in time for him to take it with him.
Probably it should be there, and I would think in 3 or 4 days tops. I mean,
so it depends on when you're leaving for your trip, but you'll probably have your shirt in about 4 days would be my guess. They do print those shirts on demand. So if you get one and there's some sort of printing error with it, which can happen occasionally, just contact Amazon and they'll send you another one. So
Jessica says people put those electric bikes in big plastic totes from Home Depot. We're going to look into that. I would love to be able to do that. I'm afraid that won't fit under our tonneau cover. It might.
It's too tall.
Yeah, because like a lot of times the way people are stacking those bikes in there, the handlebars and so forth are still, and some of the wheels
and the seat
are sticking out vertically above. Like we could
we're
slide.
gonna have to lay ours on its side.
Yeah.
So we need a tote or a storage bin that's big enough for it to lay on its side. So we'll see if we can find that. If not, we're just gonna have to sort of make something. Got a lot of Harry Bosch fans out here.
Tracy's trying to come up with a name for their 25-foot international Airstream.
Oh, wow.
That's always fun.
It is fun to name your Airstream. And, you know, ours was just sort of, I think you named our truck and our Airstream.
Well,
really.
Airstream had a slogan at the time. It was like, see more, do more, live more. And so Seymour was a natural name for our truck. And then Live.
From Live More.
Yeah. Live
is
more.
What came for our
as in Liv Tyler. Remember Liv Tyler?
Not for Liv Tyler, just the Live More. We dropped the more part.
Got a thumbs up from Karen. I wanted to say hello to Beverly.
Yes.
Garland asked, how many more years do you see yourself in your Airstream? What would make you buy a new one? It would take something pretty unique.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I don't know what would take.
If they let us design our own.
Yeah. Like if it's something like that, you know, we would love to collaborate with Airstream.
That would be really fun to do a long honeymoon edition Airstream.
Now, yeah, we've had that sort of dream for years. Like
it's a pipe dream, but maybe one day it'll happen.
Yeah, we might at least pitch it to the folks at Airstream. Because
would you guys buy a long honeymoon edition Airstream? I mean, would that be something people would be interested in? We would make it cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be fun. So like if we could custom design one with Airstream, then obviously we would love to do that. And, you know, these things happen. It's possible. Yeah. Troy asked, we still have the scooter that we reviewed. Is that something that would work well for riding around a campground? I wanted to answer this question because I found the reactions to the scooter video very interesting. I think, you know, electric bikes, nobody raised an eyebrow. In fact, everybody is totally fired up about the electric bikes. Electric scooters, it's like, woo, you're crazy, man.
Crazy. Like, what are you thinking?
I mean, it is a relatively new thing. And I thought people would be really equally as interested in the scooters as they have been in the electric bikes. It's a little bit of obviously a different riding experience when you're on a scooter. You know, as far as the danger factor, I looked it up and I found 4 different studies saying they were really no more dangerous than a bicycle or any other type of vehicle. I think, you know, there's the learning process of when you learn to ride it. I think the problem with the scooter that we reviewed is weight and size.
Yes.
Now I think ironically, even though it goes really fast or it can go fast, it's safer because it's a big, bulky scooter with hydraulic disc brakes and that suspension.
Has an incredible suspension. So, I mean, if you hit a bump, it's nothing like, to me, like when you hit a bump on your bike.
So at some point in the
So-
future, we may review a smaller one, because I think the issue with the one that we just reviewed is that it weighs almost 80 pounds.
Yeah.
And so you got to think about lifting that in and out, or whatever.
And we don't have room to fit that and our bikes, so we have to choose one or the other. And so this trip, bikes are getting preference.
But if you have more storage space than we do,
yeah, if you have a
might
toy
want
hauler
both.
or something like that, I would totally bring it along, because I think it would be awesome.
Because see, I could see places like I'll just say Fort Wilderness, for example.
Oh yeah.
Okay, like where instead of people rent golf carts down there, they ride their bikes. You might just want to have a scooter, hop on the scooter. Yeah. It's a slightly different experience of just being able to step on it, step off of it.
Yeah.
But
I think anytime you're camping near a city and you want to be able to ride your, scooter several blocks, to me, I think it's easier to ride the scooter and start and stop than it is riding a bike, starting and stopping, like stopping at red lights and that sort of thing. I just think it was a lot easier on the scooter than it is on a bike. So if you're going to be in an urban environment, I think the scooter would be great.
I want to give a shout out to my old friend David Howell, who says, "Hey guys, just drove through Montana and Wyoming for the 20th time, coming home to Calgary from Minnesota. The border's still closed." How did you get through, David, if the border's closed? Is it just closed to Americans?
Yeah. He lives in Canada now, eh?
Yeah. David has gone to the Great White North. He says it's incredibly smoky again, the worst ever. And Christy likes trashy romance novels.
Well, just every now and then, you get the cheesy romance novel ad on Amazon and you're like, oh, well, that sounds kind of cute.
See, David and I have a history together. Not only did we go to college together, but we worked in Yellowstone together. So he was working over at Mammoth when I was working at Canyon, and we spent some time that summer hanging out, of course, because we all had buddies in different parts of the park. But those were good times. In many ways, I'm still reverting to my old Yellowstone roots every summer. And thank you, David, for being out there. And David's been a follower of our website.
A long time.
He's always been very encouraging to me.
Very supportive.
And I've always appreciated that, because I remember he shared in the early days, I remember him sharing our website and saying, check out my friends. And
a lot of people thought we were crazy when we were first doing this. Like, you're going to travel in an RV together all this time. Like, why do you want to do that?
Yeah, it's really pretty funny because, I think now
it's much more common.
It's so common now. YouTube channels have become a thing, having a vlog or whatever is totally normal. If anything, it seems like there's a lot of them. But when we first started doing it, it was pretty unusual and weird. And it was nice to get encouragement from people.
Yeah. Nobody knew what YouTube was. So we were just bloggers back then. We had a website and that sort of thing. So.
Jeff and Steph, so they have electric scooters and love them.
Very cool.
So
yeah, I think, once you get on one and you ride it for a short distance, it sort of just becomes second nature. So.
Joe says, name the Airstream placebo. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it made me laugh. Now, this is interesting. Mr. Roboto says a German edition Airstream might persuade Sean.
Yeah.
We probably would be inspired by some of what we saw in that German Airstream, because I know Christy likes that U-shaped couch.
And their bathroom layout is very similar to the bathroom layout that we have in our Airstream currently, which I think is great because everything's on one side. So I really love that.
Buku points out that the Aloha Airstream should come with chili hats. And we'll put some Grey Poupon in the refrigerator.
And a Pendleton blanket, probably.
Gregory asks, how do you control black and gray tank smells? We use products by Waylex is the company. And in the black tank, we use the stuff, it's called BioPack or something like that. They're green. And they kind of have those enzymes in there. Not only does it deodorize, but it helps break down solid waste. Occasionally we throw one of those in the gray tank, but we also have some sort of like lemon scent that we put in the gray tank from time to time. And hopefully we don't have too many issues. We haven't had too many over the years.
I think it's just, sometimes you just have to empty your tanks a little more frequently when you're in really super hot weather. That's when I think sometimes you can get a little bit of a smell. And also when you flush your toilet, make sure you're flushing with enough water. I think people, when they're trying to conserve water, they think, oh, well, I'll just, as soon as everything goes down, I'll close it off and I won't put any more water down the tank. Water in your black tank is your friend. That's what helps the chemicals break everything down. If they don't have enough water, they're not going to do their job. And that's when you can have all sorts of other problems that no one wants to talk about right now, but really disgusting. So make sure when you flush your toilet that you are using enough water, especially if it's not liquid.
Yeah, especially in this hot weather. Brandon asked, do you guys know long-term owners of non-Airstream RVs? We do. I mean, for example, we have great friends in Utah who have an RPod travel trailer, and they've had that RPod for 10 years. Yeah, about 10 years, and have taken it to Alaska and back a couple of times.
Yeah.
And they've loved it.
We know some long-term owners of some Tiffin motorhomes. You know, I think those are well made, and their service is very well known to be just really impeccable, which their service is here in Alabama, in Red Bay and in Winfield, Alabama.
Also, Lance travel trailers. You know, a lot of people are really fond of the Lance brand.
Yep.
So we're sort of brand agnostic, even though we are Airstreamers.
Yeah, it's just what we like, and we like it, so we've stuck with it, you know?
Yeah, it just worked out well for us. Let's see. Rance is in Fort Wayne, Indiana, they rent those scooters out to go around town sightseeing. That's become a big thing in urban areas. And that's like
they have them in Birmingham too.
When I looked at doing a scooter review, I thought, you know, people will be interested in this because it does sort of intuitively make sense to me that if you could have a small e-scooter in some of these campgrounds, some of these RV resorts where, you know, you don't always want to set up a bike and all that. Like maybe you just have a small light scooter that you can hop on and just go across the campground or whatever. But
yeah, some of them are really small and compact, and they'll only go like, you know, 15 miles on a charge. But for most people, that would zip them around a campground for days at a time with no worries, you know.
Hayward says, hello, Sean and Christy from Louisiana.
Hi.
And James says
nice.
He installed a bidet in his trailer.
You are fancy,
I'm
and
jealous.
Sean is officially jealous. I know.
Yeah, I'm going to look into getting one.
Let's see.
Kent agrees that the biopacks are very good.
Yes.
Especially, I mean, if your trailer's going to be sitting for a while and you're going to keep, you know, something in the black tank, throw a biopack in there because that will help long term.
Somebody's asking about our inflatable boat.
We still have our inflatable boat. I mean,
right there, Sherry.
It's our boat was technically, it's not exactly a kayak. It's just
it's like a little 2-person boat,
like a little fishing
that you
boat.
can paddle, or you can put an electric motor on.
It's Scout 360.
Yeah, it's very cool, and we enjoy it, and we still have it. We have used it around Alabama. For us, I think the issue, one, is storage, because we are very limited on storage. Now, it does fold up into a bag, but it's a pretty big duffel bag. So it does take up, you know, a good chunk of space, probably like the size of, like, I don't know, a 50-gallon, you know, storage tote. So you have to take that into consideration. The other thing that we figured out with taking it around is a lot of times you have to get it inspected before you can put it in a body of water in a different state. So you have to go through the process of that and pay a fee for that. And then you also have to get a boating sticker for whatever state that you're in. So then you have to pay a fee for that. So it just sort of was like,
that's just if you're complying with the law. But
yeah,
the other issue, I mean, in addition to the boat, you've got paddles or oars, you've got your life vests,
the motor, if you want to bring that.
Yeah, if you're bringing a motor, so you've got sort of another container of stuff, you know, that goes along with the boat. So I think it needs to be your passion.
Yes.
Now you can have fantastic experiences on that inflatable boat, and when, you know, like,
it's awesome. I mean, we've had it in Grand Teton National Park, and we went through the process of getting the inspection and the stickers and all that, and it was incredible. I mean, we really enjoyed it. But last year and this year, again, it's sort of like the time of year we're going, where we're going, how often will we have the chance to be somewhere where we can be out on a boat? How many different states are we going to be in? How frequently do we want to have to go through the process of getting the permit and getting the inspection and all that kind of stuff? It's just a lot for us at this point. So we really are just using it in our home state because we don't have to get it re-inspected and all that. You know, you do it once a year, and as long as we're in the state of Alabama, we're good. We might occasionally take it to Florida, so that's one other state, but that's usually when a body of water is the bulk of our trip, where we're going to be next to a body of water for the bulk of our trip. So then it makes sense for us.
Yeah, it would be actually kind of awesome to have in a place like Florida,
In the
for
Keys.
example.
If
Yeah,
we were
in the
back at
Keys.
Blue Water Key, because we have, where we stay there, we have a private pier. And so you can tie up that boat to the pier. So that would be really cool.
Jungle Guy asked, if Airstream was looking to increase the size of the freshwater tanks? Our freshwater tank is 54 gallons. Now, there are different size tanks in the different models of Airstream. Our Airstream is a classic model, and at least back in the day, the classics always kind of got the bigger tanks, and they kind of got all the bells and whistles. So I don't know if I've heard of any much bigger than that in Airstreams, or if they're going to change that.
Shout out to Jim Pratt for smashing the troll. Way to go, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Check him out.
It took a while, but we finally had a troll, and Jim
got him.
Jim is our resident bouncer.
Thank you very much, Jim. We appreciate your help.
Yeah.
So we are closing in on the 2-hour mark.
Yeah,
We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes.
Adventure Road says, I just want to give a acknowledgement for the super chat, and thanks. If you're ever up in northern Michigan, message. There's a lot of great camping our way. Safe travels. Great job on videos. Thank you very much for the super chat, and we totally agree with you. Michigan was a big surprise to me when we did a pretty big tour all the way through Michigan, including the UP, and it was fantastic. There's so much wilderness in Michigan. I think it will be a big surprise to a lot of people. It's really beautiful in the summer there, and so we would love to make it back there as well.
Yeah, lots of great camping there. Traverse City is a great little town. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of waterfront towns in Michigan. You forget how much waterfront, Michigan has because of all the Great Lakes.
And the water is really beautiful there.
It's beautiful. Now, cold, but it's beautiful to look at. But yeah, there's a lot of great waterfront camping there. So
Johnny says, I've fished all over the country in a boat licensed in Michigan and never heard of having to get a boat inspected in another state. Does this only apply to inflatables? I'm not sure about what it applies to, but I know that in some states, they're kind of sticklers about it because of organisms. Invasive species.
Especially if you're in a national park. So that could have something to do with it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't seen too many rangers out running around.
I think out west,
boats,
maybe it's more common.
But it's just one of those things. If you're going to do everything by the book, which of course we always recommend, then, that's the way you're supposed to do it.
Sean hates that I'm a rule follower.
She's a rule follower. I'm the rule.
Sean's a rule breaker.
I'm a rule ignorer. It's sort of the way our relationship works. This is why married men live longer than single men, because our wives keep us in line and keep us following the rules. My old slogan is, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, but
until you go to jail.
Yeah. I heard too many people going to jail for riding around in an inflatable boat, but it would probably happen to me. They would handcuff me and throw me in. What are you in for? Oh, I floated on a boat out in the lake. All right, we're probably going to wrap up because I mean, we could go all night, but poor Jim Pratt has been out there.
Jim Pratt, we owe you a lot of pizza and beer and fried chicken and homemade biscuits and all kinds of things.
Now, I want Jim Pratt to start a painting channel.
Yes.
And, you need to start teaching people how to paint, because I think Jim has been acquiring painting skills like during the COVID lockdowns.
He's gotten really good.
He's taken his time to learn a new talent and skill, or develop a talent.
Or perfect it, maybe.
Perfect it. And so he shares a lot of times his paintings on Facebook. We always appreciate that. And he's a good example of someone who is, I think, made very constructive use of his time.
During the COVID lockdowns, for sure. And you guys in Canada have had a lot of them. So hopefully you'll be in the clear soon.
So we really appreciate you guys.
Classic Car Traveler, thank you for being a member. We appreciate that.
John Nelson says, how do I keep my trailer from rocking? Just get married. It'll take care of itself.
Ha ha ha! Very funny. I'll remember that later.
Johnny says, you owe Jim some cornbread.
Yeah, I do owe Jim
That would be
some
great.
cornbread for real. Let's see. Classic Car Traveler. Thank you for being a member. We appreciate that so much.
Terry Rowan asked if Baby Girl has any other name other than Baby Girl. I mean, Baby Girl, she's a rescue, and I think her first name was like
Juicy
Couture, and then it was Roxy, and she got passed around. And like, so when she joined our family, she was about a year old, and
the people who had been keeping her, rescued her, what have you, had just been calling her Baby Girl because they had other Chihuahuas that were bigger Chihuahuas. So she was just the baby girl.
So,
it stuck.
It stuck, and it actually suits her because she is kind of like a little baby in a lot of ways. And we'll call her sometimes BG or BG the Chi.
Yep.
Or Baby Got Chihuahua. So it's got a nice ring to it, and it does suit her. It does suit you.
I mean, look at that precious little face. Say, I am a baby girl.
Just like Baby Yoda.
Chihuahua. Yeah.
Like there's a Baby Yoda and there's a Baby Girl Chihuahua.
A sweet girl.
She's BG the Chi. All right, guys, we're going to sign off, but I want to acknowledge Steve, who says he's going to Yellowstone for the first time. If we keep our windows closed, can we keep food in the refrigerator without worrying about bears? Absolutely. Especially, I'm assuming you have a hard-sided RV. Now, there are a couple of campgrounds where if you have a soft-sided RV, like a pop-up, then well, they may not let you camp there because there's so much bear activity. But otherwise, truthfully, you'll be lucky if you see a bear because you could go to Yellowstone and you could stay for a week and not see any bears. So I think there's a lot of fear about bear activity, but it's actually very exciting if you see a bear. And typically you're going to see a bear, especially a grizzly, from a distance. Yeah. And hopefully you don't see a grizzly bear really close because that would be probably a surprise encounter, and we don't want a negative human bear interaction. I'm going to give a shout out to David Ragsdale.
Hi, David.
Who says, when are you guys coming back this way? David is in beautiful Colorado.
Yes.
Always nice to see you, David.
Springs.
Yep. David showed us the town last time we were there.
It's been a few years.
Yeah. We camped just out, I guess.
It was a national forest campground.
And near Steamboat. It was a beautiful campground.
Yeah.
So
it was at a really high elevation, though, so it was really cold at night, but it was perfect sleeping weather.
So I would have to say that I would love to go back to Colorado, this summer. I mean, maybe in the next month or two. Yeah,
we might come through on our way west.
We'll give you a shout if we'll
let you know, David.
Are in your area. Fred asks if Airstream is worth the extra money. That's a tough question. It's a personal choice. And at the end of the day, it's an RV. I mean, frankly, it's a travel trailer like any other travel trailer. The components are basically the same. They've done a better job in recent years jazzing up the interiors. So the interiors are significantly different. And then the exterior is a classic. If you like that aluminum look, there's, it's the only one on the market these days. So we have some videos specifically discussing the pros and cons of Airstream ownership. So definitely check out our channel for that.
With regard to the boat thing, David chimed in and says it's the invasive species. Almost every Western state, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, etc., have inspections before you can put your boat in the water. So yeah, all the lovely places we like to go out west. So
all right, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and out of courtesy to our troll
moderator, thank you, Jim.
Yeah,
he has been a trooper tonight. We didn't intend to go this long, but we are happy that you guys were here to join us. We've had a good crowd tonight.
You see, Denise had the right idea. You made unpacking and cleaning up from our weekend trip easier.
There you go.
That's the idea. Like, this is something you can just put on and have playing, and then get something done, like fold some clothes or unpack.
Yep.
KO says Airstreams hold their value. I mean, that is true that our Airstream is probably worth more today than it was when we purchased it 14, 15 years ago.
And it was 4 years old when we bought it.
And we have used the heck out of it. Yeah. And it's still appreciated in value, especially in this current market.
Yep.
So, all right, we're going to sign off. Yeah, thanks, Alan, for joining us. And thank everybody. Say thank you to Jim. So
And this is baby girl Chihuahua for anybody that doesn't know. Somebody was asking what her name is.
Yep.
Say
John
baby
says this is a
girl
long,
Chihuahua.
long live stream. This was
It
a marathon.
is.
This
This has
might have
been a
been our
marathon.
longest. So thank you guys. We enjoyed it very much. And we really appreciate your supporting the Long, Long Honeymoon over the years.
Absolutely.
It's been a labor of love. And we always enjoy these live streams. And we're glad that you guys seem to enjoy them as well. So come see us on Amazon Live Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central. You can follow us over there. And it's very similar format with fewer people.
Yes.
So we're able to answer more questions and talk to you directly.
Yes. And we'll be on the road hopefully a week from Monday.
Yep.
So the countdown is on.
So thank you guys. I'm signing off this time for real.
Lo-lo-ho.
Lo-lo-ho.